You have heard me say this I don't know how many times, to never trust the media. And with somebody who's been in this game since the OG Gamergate, way back in 2014, basically a lifetime ago, we now, thanks to the defunding of USAID, have unequivocal proof that the government interfered in the original Gamergate to make us gamers look terrible, to spread an ideological message, to basically put us in the situation we've been in for the last decade. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yeah, this coming from a boy Smash JT, but we got a lot to go over. We actually probably won't be spending a lot of time on Smash's article. No offense, Smash, love you to death, but yeah, some news about the USAID stuff broke, and I actually was reading up about this even before his coverage. I haven't read your article yet, but I want to give you some credit, my boy, so we're going to get into this. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and yeah, let's get into how you have been duped by not just the mainstream media, but the U.S. government for a worldwide phenomenon into what's been happening in gaming, and of course that extends to culture beyond gaming for the last decade. U.S. government exposed backing journalists' Gamergate attacks against gamers in massive scandal. Now it makes sense why these hacks hated Trump so much. In a bombshell revelation, Politico, an extremist left-leaning news outlet known for their hostility towards Gamergate and the entire gaming community, has been exposed for receiving over $8 million in taxpayer dollars through USAID and other government contracts. So congratulations. Every time you got a paycheck from work, every time you went and you bought something at the grocery store, some of just little bits of that money very well may have gone towards making the medium that you love worse and worse. You have actively and without your consent been funding the destruction of one of our favorite, if not our favorite, hobbies. The Trump administration has already acted swiftly, with the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announcing that Politico's funding is being terminated effective immediately. But here's the dealio. I get it. Grum's went on this thing, talked about Politico, and this is all true. It is Politico. But it's not just Politico, guys. What about our friends over at the BBC? Oh, our statement on USAID funding. Free press is essential to freedom and democracy, and 75% of countries around the world do not have a free press. Already they are trying to pull your heartstrings. This is emotional manipulation out the gate from the BBC. Media Action supports local media around the world to deliver trusted information to people most in need. Like many international development organizations, BBC Media Action has been affected by the temporary pause on U.S. government funding. Oh, wait. BBC stands for British Broadcasting. Like, why is the U.S. funding that? Why are you getting money from us for your... Shouldn't that be something that your taxpayers are taking care of? Oh, right. That's not even how it works anymore. Now that you have your citizens have to pay for a license, and they're not wanting to pay for it because the BBC is crumbling. Because even over across the pond, where they can't question who Allah is, and they get jailed for it, even they are starting to just question and demand more from their government. So yeah, the Brits, the people that, we won our independence from all those years ago because our farmers with pitchforks are better than your tough regimented military, yeah, you are relying on us to fund 8% of your income in 2023 and 2024. 8%. The U.S. was sending 8% to the BBC. Now they say, oh, the BBC's international charity. We are completely separate from BBC News. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. You are a BBC shell company. Whatever money is sent to you, yeah, that's being funneled back. Because that's how that works. That's how the Bill and Melinda Gates charity works. Like, you can't say, we're a charity. We're not the same as BBC News. No. Yeah, maybe it goes to a different account, but guess what? Then you got accountants that come in, cook the books, you move money around. It literally counts as a charity for tax purposes. The point is, we still gave you 8% of your funding. Now let's look at where did that 8% go? Well, in 2014, remember, because Gamergate, the original Gamergate, that started this crusade against gaming and really was kind of the first mainstream event that kicked all this into gear when it comes to being anti-woke, when it comes to being against, the mainstream media, and figuring out, why is all this ideological driven, agendaed mess in our pop culture? It mostly started with Gamergate. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. When you had, Milo Yiannopoulos going on Fox News in 2016 talking about Gamergate, that was the first time any mainstream notoriety had come from this. But in 2014, the BBC had this article, Zoe Quinn, Gamergate must be condemned. Or what about this one from 2014? Gamergate, press must tackle misogyny, says developer. What about this one from 2014? Feminist video games talk canceled after a massacre threat. Oh, what about this one from the BBC? The dark side of gaming. I've been called a curry muncher. For the last, by the way, yeah, this one was, 2016, if I didn't say that. So, at this point, we've moved from the Obama era to the Trump era. So, yes, all this started. Now, first of all, it probably goes back way further than Obama, but at least Gamergate, since it happened in 2014, we're under the Obama administration. 2016, we get into the Trump. Now, to be fair, February 2016, actually, we are still under Obama at this point. So, yeah, this is where we're sitting. We've had the massive Democrat media in control, sending money to the BBC to smear and destroy gamers, to make us basically out to be a terrorist hate group. Now, why is it? Why would they do that? Why pick gamers? Because as I say all the time, as I say in just about any video where it's relevant, gaming is the largest entertainment industry, legally, in the world. It dwarfs books. It dwarfs Hollywood. It dwarfs the music industry. Gaming generates billions, and people do it the world over. So if you can manipulate, and if you can sort of change what's going on behind the scenes, if you can make a large swath of individuals start accepting new cultural norms, doing it through the news, doing it through the products they buy, of course you're going to use the most common product, which is video games. But then it gets even better. We got our girl Alyssa Mercante here. I thought we were done talking about this broad. I mean, she is no longer relevant, and maybe she's suing Smash JT, but really at this point, I mean, that's a slam dunk lawsuit. Even that's not fun to talk about anymore. But she says something so easily, if not disproven, at least called into question. She's still running defense for the mainstream media machine. This is a conspiracy theory that has already been debunked. Before someone like Musk took over, this bizarre anti-logic theories would fester places like 8chan, where they eventually caused real-world, often violent action. Oh, get the fuck out of here. But for people like Mark Kern and Jeff Tarzia, conspiracy theories are the source of clout and income, so they spread them. It doesn't matter that the truth is there. What matters is you get angry and they get your money. Now, she's of course referring to data from usspending.gov, a government website that tracks federal spending, shows government agencies collectively spent more than $8 million combined in payments for Politico subscriptions and products in 2024. This includes $24,000 spent by U.S. agencies. So basically, she's trying to say, oh, all of you guys going at Politico, all they did was, of course, Politico, spent money, or the USAID spent money on Politico. They were paying for subscriptions. Really, you need to pay $24,000 up to $8 million for all your employees to have subscriptions. The office of Republican Representative Lauren Boebert, who accused Politico of grift on social media Wednesday, paid more than $7,000. It's absolutely insane, the defense she's trying to run. USAID, primarily responsible for administering civilian foreign aid, development assistance, is common for new administrations shift and changing the scope of USAID. It is not common for them to make headline-grabbing, misleading statements about what USAID did prior. Basically, she's stating that all the money that USAID spent on these companies, it was not them propping them up and trying to butter them up and give them money under the table to run the news stories they want to news. It was so that USAID could do research, so they could do their job properly. Really, if that's the case, then why did the BBC come out and actually admit 8% of their income was funded by USAID? That doesn't sound like people just, setting up subscriptions and whatnot. But we got this from Reuters. News outlet rejects Trump accusations USAID media payoff. Well, of course they would reject that accusation because it makes them fucking look bad. Or what about this from Time magazine? Trump and Musk promote misleading scandal about government funding media. If all these government agencies, or not government agencies, if all these outlets are saying the same story about a government agency, this is a lie. This is a conspiracy theory. Maybe we shouldn't believe you. You clearly all have a vested interest in not being found out. I mean, we got the Express Tribune here. New York Times reportedly received millions in funding from the U.S. government, and they cite an Ian Miles Chong tweet. Now, to be fair, the Ian Miles Chong tweet has been community noted. He got his math wrong, but at the end of the day, it's still true. The New York Times still did, in fact, receive, as opposed to what was it? Where does it say here? In 1924, yeah, instead of 4.1 million in 1 month that they received, actually it's closer to 1.6 million. But the fact of the matter is, they still received it. The New York Times still received it. Why would USAID need to send all that money? Even if it was for subscriptions, let's take a listen to Mercante's logic. Even if it was for subscriptions, how are you going to need $1.6 million in subscriptions for your employees? Yeah, that's not how it works. New York Times reportedly received millions in funding from U.S. government. New York Times hasn't come out and denied it yet. Again, Time magazine has, Reuters has, but at the end of the day, There's a vested interest in these companies saying, no, we're not part of this. This is all conspiracy theories. There's so many things as of late that have been conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. I mean, why have we been sending all that money to Ukraine? Why were we sending condoms to fucking Gaza? Are you really, at this point in the game, this late in the game, trying to tell us we're the media, trust us, believe us, when trust in the media is at an all-time low, and now we found out you've been being backed by the U.S. government, as if we didn't already know. Everyone's known. I've been saying this for ages upon ages, and it's not just the U.S. government. I mean, I'm sure it's multiple governments over the world. I'm sure it's the World Economic Forum. Like, it goes far beyond this, but you know what? At the end of the day, Gamergate, all of this was initiated because the BBC was getting money from USAID, and what did they use that money on? Well, at least 8% of it. And by the way, this is 8% in 2023 and 2024. Who knows what the numbers were in 2014 to 2016? Could be higher, could be lower, don't know. But we good goddamn well know that at least a percentage of this went towards manufacturing an outrage culture against gamers, trying to paint them as racist, trying to paint them as misogynistic, trying to paint them as bigots, trying to paint them as people who didn't want the dirty, filthy darkies or those evil women in our spaces, when we've always been very open and encouraging and welcoming. I mean, when you were back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you wanted to find yourself a girl that played some Mortal Kombat, and lo and behold, as swift just 10 to 15 years later, it all comes crashing down because there was a media apparatus that could be taken advantage of. And again, what is the easiest way to take advantage? You go after the most common entertainment project to infect your ideology, to spread this message, spread this little earworm. How many people were probably entirely normal, but slowly they had these thoughts of, well, maybe diversity, equity, and inclusion ain't so bad. Don't even give thought to the fact that it's completely manufactured in and of itself racist. They just see it in games, so it becomes subconscious. They see it in the news articles over and over. They're told it's a good thing. Better, worse than that, they're told they're a monster if they somehow go against it. But lo and behold, the truth has come out. Gamergaters who've been saying for years, your boy included, because remember, I was there, unlike, don't get me wrong, Gamergate 2 important and all that, but Gamergate 1 is the catalyst, and we've been saying for years that this was a psyop, that this absolutely, there was government hands in this, and looks like we were right. 10 years later, and the vindication is here. You love to see it. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Not always about the, what's going on in gaming culture, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 150 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. But only one kind of diversity. Diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.